Key performance indicators, KPIs with examples. Hey, my name is Audunsson, and in this video I'm going to talk about key performance indicators or KPIs, and I'm going to give you specific examples of KPIs as well. And this has been, probably the most useful tool in my business throughout the last couple of years. I've been running online businesses for more than 8 years now, and after we adopted and started to use KPIs, it really changed the game and how I look at business, and it's been such an insightful tool for not only me but also my clients that I help be more successful with their businesses also. This is a game-changing concept and a tool when you use it correctly. So I'm really excited to share it with you here in this video and just show you what I know and what we do with KPIs to make our businesses perform better, gain more control, better insights, and also really work with a team to get great results. So let's get started and just dive right in. So key performance indicators, that's KPIs. Let me just give you some highlights of what KPIs are. You might know that already, maybe not, so let me just give you a quick sort of overview of what this concept is about. So this is a set of metrics that we use. So we use KPIs to measure and monitor business performance. What that means is we really use KPIs to measure how the business is performing over time. So like day in and out, week in and out, month in and out, we use it to measure the key things that are happening in the business, and we use it to monitor how the business is performing over time quickly through looking at a set of numbers. Right? It makes it a lot more objective, clear, data-driven, scientific when you view your business from just based on numbers as a way to understand what's going on, good or bad. So that's really KPIs in a nutshell. We use these metrics, a set of metrics, 6 to 12, to measure and monitor the business performance over time. Pretty straightforward, right? Now, another thing I want to mention here that's important is that KPIs are really a leading indicator of performance, and they alert of performance issues. So on the positive side, KPIs are leading indicators of performance. So when you look at them, they will give you a good insight into what's going to happen in the future. Like, let's say you're tracking KPIs on a weekly basis, it will give you a good insight into what's going to happen next week if you look at the ones that were for the current week that just completed, right? So they are leading indicators of performance. So that's kind of a positive thing, right? It can help you see, be optimistic, see that, things are going in the right direction. We've got a reason to be optimistic here, and positive. Or on the flip side, it can alert you of performance issues. So you might look at it and go, whoa, we've got to really intercept here. We've got to do something in this area because this KPI is telling us that things are going in the wrong direction. So if you use the right time frame with your KPIs, you should be able to catch issues before they really become big problems. So you can intercept and at least minimize the damage instead of it just lingering on, maybe being in your business, this problem or this issue for weeks and weeks, and you don't even notice that it's there, right? So that's one of the reasons KPIs are so important, is you want to have a clear, finger on the pulse of your business at all times, so you know exactly how things are going, how they're trending, what's likely to manifest here over the next couple of weeks or months based on what's going on right now. So leading indicators of performance and performance issues. It's like an alert system as well. Now, the third thing here that I want to mention is that key performance indicators help with or provide clarity on what areas to optimize in your business. So they really help you decide what areas of your business to optimize based on what's going on. So you might have, you're growing your business and you've got a set of metrics and several of them are moving in the right direction, but maybe one or two are not, or maybe they're even going in the wrong direction. Now that's a clear sign that you should put some focus here and optimize this area of your business to really, move it forward and take it in the right direction. So it helps you to, get clarity on what areas to optimize, and then it helps you actually optimize the areas, because when you start to work on it, then you can look at the metrics, the KPI in question, or that you're focusing on, wanting to optimize, or 2 or 3 KPIs you're wanting to optimize, and make sure they're actually improving, right? They're going in the right direction, so you can see that the work you're doing is paying off or not. So that's really in a nutshell what KPIs are about. Now what I want to show you is more like an actual example, right? Because I think the example is the most useful thing to see how this actually works in reality. So I'm going to give you like a step-by-step setup process. I'm going to write some things in here and just show you the steps to set up KPIs in your business. So if you want to go ahead and set up KPIs for your business, you can really do that, based on this video. So the first thing you want to do is select a time frame. So you've got to first and foremost know the time frame you want your KPIs to be on. So you really have 3 main options, which is daily, weekly, or monthly. You could maybe go bi-weekly or something like that, or every 3 days, but I haven't done it. I recommend daily, weekly, or monthly. And now you might be wondering, well, how do I select the time frame? Like, what should I take into consideration? And the main thing is really the business model that you're running and the nature of your business, right? So what you need to have is enough data to make sense of it within a certain time frame. So you want to balance like speed with consistency, because if you have, like, if your KPIs are on a very short time frame, like daily, and you don't have like a big data set for all the KPIs, like you don't have a lot of data coming through for every KPI on a daily basis, then what's going to happen is that you're going to have a lot of ups and downs day to day. Like, let's say you're selling private label products on Amazon as an e-commerce business, then daily is probably going to be too short. It's going to be too fast, because there's going to be natural fluctuation day by day, and you don't want to be freaking out and making decisions on a daily basis just because things are fluctuating up and down, because that will happen just naturally. So that's going to be too quick, it's going to be too fast, it's going to be noisy, it's going to be not the right time frame to track your KPIs on. It's not going to be very useful. It's not going to help you see things clearly. It's actually going to confuse you and lead you astray potentially. So this is really important. Same goes, let's say you had an e-commerce business selling private label products on Amazon, and you select a monthly time frame. Now you're going to have an issue because you might have a problem, let's say, with your inventory, or how many SKUs are live or something like that. That if you wait an entire month until you look at this data for your business, you might have gone like 3 weeks without noticing a major issue, and now it's really become a big problem. So a monthly time frame would be too slow. So a weekly time frame is what we use for that business, because it gives us the right balance between, again, speed, noticing things quickly enough to act on them before they become real issues and things, and also it's slow enough, like it gives a big enough data set to keep the numbers consistent. So if they change a lot week by week, we know that that could be an issue or a really good sign. It shouldn't fluctuate too much week by week without something actually being being a root cause that's causing this to happen beyond just like normal fluctuations in sales volume and demand and things like that. So this is what you've got to consider depending on the business. What is the right time frame for you? So in our example here, this is like a KPI table. So now you could set it up, you could turn it around if you've got like a monthly time frame. So you have month 1, 2, 3, in the KPIs here. But if you have daily or weekly, you want to use this setup. So you've got the KPIs up top, and then you've got the time frame like coming down. So let's say in our example we choose weekly. That's our time frame. So we're just going to select that. So this is like week 1, week 2, and week 3 in the current year that you're in. So that's the first step, is to actually just select the time frame. Is it week 1, week 2, week 3, or month 1, month 2, month 3, or day 1, day 2, day 3, right? So now that we've done that, we want to select what the KPIs are. So now you're going to select 6 to 12 KPIs. And the key thing here is to make this choice very carefully and very strategically, because having not enough KPIs to really give you an indication of all the main components of your business, it give you enough insight into all the main areas of your business. If you select KPIs that are too few KPIs, so you don't have an insight into like a key area of your business with that KPI set, that's a problem, because you're gonna miss things, and that's not the purpose of this, right? If you select more than 12, or too many KPIs, I should say, then you're also going to have a problem, because you're probably going to have KPIs in there that you don't really need, or you can combine, some of them into one, and you're going to have like too much noise, and it's going to be hard to make decisions, and it's going to be inefficient, basically. So the key here is to select as few as possible KPIs that still give you a complete view of the business. So that's really the key. As little as possible, but still a complete overview of the business. So it should give you an insight into 99% of the performance of the business that actually matters, right? So depending on your business, that's going to be, that set of KPIs are going to be totally different, right? It depends on the business that you're in. But you want to just look at every area of your business and find, what metric or 2 or 3 metrics can be used to really give us a finger on the pulse of this area of the business, right? So if it's private label, e-commerce, selling products on Amazon, that could be like research and development, product selection. It could be supply chain, that's another key area, and it's advertising or marketing and sales, right? And then maybe finance, or it would be, these basically areas that I just mentioned. So what set of KPIs will give you a full overview and a good insight into the performance of the business on a weekly basis in this case, right? So let me give you some examples. So let's say that's our business in our example. For KPI 1, and it doesn't have to be like this, I'm just giving you an example, right? So KPI 1, let's say we select live SKUs as the first KPI, right? So this is how many SKUs do we have live at this moment on Amazon. That could be KPI 1, because this is important, right? Just to give you an example, right? So understanding like how many products are actually live and available for sale tells you a lot. It tells you, first of all, how you're planning your inventory, like if you're running out of inventory a lot and things like that, which is a bad thing. And it also tells you, are you growing the business with more products over time? Because you will look at this over an entire year and you can see what's happened. And you can use this as a record to review, the year and things like that as well. So this one tells us things about our supply chain and also about our product development, our R&D department, right? So great KPI as an example. You might also have now this is probably going to be on most KPI scoreboards, is revenue. Or some financial metric in terms of the sales, how much are you selling and how's that trending, is it going up or down, things like that. Another one as an example would be, this is one I really like as a KPI in a private label business on Amazon, is advertised cost of total sales, right? So ACOTS. And this is a great metric because it shows you, not only how your advertising is performing, but it also shows you the relationship between paid and organic sales in your business. So by looking at this number, just the percentage, you can really gain a good insight into how your advertising department is doing. Is it driving sales in the right kind of way? Is it balancing paid and organic properly and things like this? So great KPI to have on your advertising department, basically. So that's step 2, and obviously you wouldn't select 3, you would select 6 to 12 KPIs, but just a simple example. So that was step 2. Step 3 is you want to select what we call a PolarisKPI. Now this is a really powerful thing to do. So what I mean here is like, this is like your guiding, your leading KPI, your main KPI. You could call it like a North Star KPI. I like to call it the Polaris Star, the PolarisKPI. And so this KPI is really the main KPI that you want to be optimizing at the moment, right? Because I mentioned, you use KPIs to get clarity on and help you optimize a certain area of your business. So this will change a bit over time, but you want to basically put focus on one KPI. And what you have to understand, this is a big mistake I see a lot of sellers and entrepreneurs make, is that it's very hard to optimize every KPI in your business at the same time, usually. Because this means you're trying to improve every area of your business at the same time. So, that might seem like a good idea, and in a sense it is. But oftentimes what happens is that when you're looking to improve something, you're going to like harm another part of it for a period of time. So let's say you want to grow the business with more SKUs. Well, the ACOTS is probably going to actually go up, which is the wrong direction, more or less, when you're doing that. Because when you're launching new SKUs, new products, you're going to be spending more money on ads, and initially they're not going to be as effective and as efficient as over time when you've given it enough time to optimize it, through campaign management and different things you do to optimize your advertising to a point where it's very effective. There's not a lot of spend, the product is converting well and things like that. So, so trying to like improve how many SKUs you have in a sense of like launching new products, and also trying to improve the ACOTS, like driving it down at the same time, would be very counter effective. It's going to really not be possible. It's not going to be very hard, and it's going to, let you, like, it's going to make you feel like you're like, oh, I have to like, do something different. I have to pause this, and then I'm trying to improve this, and then, oh, I want to do more products, but then I have to like do less advertising. Like, it's going to really confuse you. So that's why we select a PolarisKPI, because that's the main thing. And then the other ones kind of follow. And of course we want to improve them, we want to monitor them, we want to do all those things. They're still important. But if our Polaris is, let's say, we make our Polaris this one, like live SKUs, that's the main one right now. Then if our ACOTS this one is going up, like it's improving, and then the ACOTS is going in the wrong direction, it's also going up, then you don't have to worry, because well, this is our Polaris right now, so it's more important that this one actually improves than any of the other ones right now, right? So that's how it works. So you want to select a PolarisKPI based on your current situation and your current objectives in the business, right? So that's how that works with the Polaris. Now the fourth thing, the final thing, is really to measure and monitor according to time frame, right? So now it's time to put this into action and actually, again, measure and monitor your KPIs according to the time frame you selected. So let's say this is our KPI set here, and we selected weekly as the time frame. Now you just start to track it. So let's say we've got 10 SKUs live right now, week 1. Our revenue, let's say that's 100K. And then our ACOTS is, let's say that's at 20%. Or actually, let's say that's at like 15%. So that's week 1. And then you complete, so that's when week 1 is completed. Like the day after week 1 is finished, you write in the KPIs. And you look at that, okay, it doesn't really tell you so much until you start to, track it over a period of time. Like now we go into week 2. So let's say at this point you've got like 12 SKUs, and your revenue is going up a bit. It's like 110K. And then your ACOTS, it's not very clear, went from 15 to like 20% here. Now, that's bad, right? You don't want this to be going up usually. But it's not bad when you look at what you're actually trying to accomplish, which is the PolarisKPI, and that one is going in the right direction because you're looking to grow how many live SKUs you've got. So you're doing that, the revenue is following, which makes sense. ACOTS went up right now, not a big deal. That is okay because of what you're looking to accomplish at the moment. So you've got to read this, logically based on what's going on in the business. So let's say we go into week 3 and then all of a sudden, like your live SKUs drop down to 9. Oops. And revenue goes to like 80K. And then your ACOTS comes down to, let's say, just like 17.5%. So how would we read this in this simple example? Well, this is a problem. Like, this was not supposed to happen. We were looking to grow our live SKUs, that's a PolarisKPI, and we just, are now doing worse than the first week. So this tells you something happened. Like, there's some issue here. So now you've got to dig in on this and find the reason why. Like, what's the root cause? Did you run out of inventory? Did your listing get blocked or suspended? Or what happened here? Because this is not what you're wanting to see happen in the business. And then with revenue, this dropped and almost definitely as a result of this, right? So you can read into that like that, but you still want to dig in and see if there's any other cause for the revenue dropping. Again, obviously going in the wrong direction. Most businesses want revenues to go up, not down, right? And then ACOTS, 15% to 20%, now down to 17.5%. So this was a quote unquote bad thing, but it's a natural thing because of what we're looking to accomplish. And then it went back down a bit. So that's a good sign. So probably means that we launched some new ads and things to, launch these SKUs, but then already we're starting to optimize the ads a bit and they're performing better for the business. So this is a good sign in this case. Could also be because some of the SKUs went offline or something like that, but that's really how it works, right? So you track it now every single week and you look at the KPIs and you read into them what's going on. You've got a PolarisKPI that is the main thing you're trying to drive forward at the moment, and this will alert you of issues. It will alert you of show you things that are going in the right direction. So to give you an example, like this is an issue. We went from 12 to 9 SKUs while we're trying to grow the number of SKUs we have live. So look into that. What's the problem? What do we have to improve here? What do we have to optimize and fix? ACOTS went from 20 to 17.5%. Good sign. So next week we're probably going to have a ACOTS that's even lower than 17.5% because it's improving, right? So this is how it works, and this is why it's so valuable to have KPIs in your business, because it alerts you of issues. It shows you if you're going in the right direction as well, right? So it's just a fantastic way to look at things and look at your business scientifically with numbers and understand exactly what's going on. If you're working with a team, so let's talk about that. So if you've got a team, like, you'll do this even if you're only like running the business by yourself, like a solopreneur. But if you have a team, how does this work? Well, this would be, you'd have this set for the entire business, like 6 to 12 KPIs that give you an insight into every area of the business that is important, right? So you can catch the issues that matter and see the things that are important and matter in the business, if they're going in the right direction or not. But if you've got a team, how you would really use these KPIs with your team is obviously going to depend on the size of the team. But let's say you've got a team of like 20 people and you've got, let's say, like 4 managers in the business. You might review the overall business KPIs with the managers mostly, and depending on the manager, like, they're going to be responsible for a KPI. So your advertising manager would be responsible, let's say, for this one, the ACOTS, because they're managing the advertising, the marketing of the business, and they might have a team of people doing the work with them, right? And then you might have like someone in charge of product development that is responsible for live SKUs KPI. And so that's really how you would delegate responsibility and create accountability in the team. And then as you come together as a group of managers or executives in the business, you can coordinate on these things. Like, you're not gonna scold the advertising manager because ACOTS went from 15 to 20%, while at the same time, the main priority of the business right now is to launch new products and grow, right? So you can, you can align the team to a certain degree through the KPIs. And then, in the same way, if you went from 12 to 9 SKUs, you're looking to grow this KPI, you would talk to the guy responsible for this one and ask what's going on, and they should know the answers because they're responsible for this department. Now, each manager might have their own set of KPIs, like you might have a set of KPIs for advertising as well, like 6 to 12 dedicated just to the advertising, marketing and sales department, which the advertising manager uses for the same exact purpose with their team that's dedicated to the marketing and sales, the advertising in the business, right? So that's how it works, right? But this one is like one out of maybe 2 or 3 that the business as a whole uses to evaluate whether or not the advertising is going well. But then it's basically like derived from more metrics, like 6 to 12, that then build up this one. So that's how it works, and it's kind of cascaded down, the pipe, so to speak, with the team. If you've got departments and things within, or sub teams within your bigger team. So hopefully that makes sense. But you might not have this. If you're a smaller business, all you need is just one set for the entire business, really, and that's it. But when you start to make people responsible for the KPIs, you can still do that with the set. But then, especially if that person has a person or more, a couple of people working beneath them or with them in their team, they would then create their own set of KPIs to do the same exact thing with that sub team of the business, and help make sure things are going in the right direction within that department. So that's how that works. Now, so these are all the steps to set it up, and how to do it with the team as well. So let's cover the final thing here, which is I'm just going to give you some more KPI examples, right? Just talk about it a little bit, just to give you a clearer view. So other KPI examples. Well, you're going to have, as an example, you don't have to have this one. I'm just giving you a random example. Again, this is from private label, e-commerce business, order defect rate. So that's a great one. Now that's a KPI that would give you a good insight, a good finger on the pulse of your supply chain in terms of quality control. So this is a metric where, normally it might be like, the order defect rate is like 0.20 or something like that. So very low, like less than 1%. And tracking this on a weekly basis would be a good idea potentially, because if it goes up, problem, right? What's the problem? Fix it. Or if it's going down, great, that could be an objective you have. You might put the focus on that. If you've had a order defect rate that's too high, causing you issues, you might make that the Polaris star to drive this one down. So have more and better quality control. So that could be the priority in the business. Inventory performance index, that's another one you might have. So this one has become more important now, especially on like Amazon, if you're selling on Amazon. To monitor this one, because you want to, now this would be an indicator that takes into account several different variables to tell you like how well you're planning your inventory. Are you timing and setting your orders of new products, reordering products in the right amounts? Or when you're launching new products, are you buying the right amount of it? This would be a balancing act between like your purchasing, your lead times, your supply chain with your advertising, the sales, the sell-through of those products, and balancing those two, making good decisions. But this is a great KPI, one number that will give you a great insight into how those things are working in your business, right? So you're kind of bringing a couple of different things together to tell you how this thing is performing, this part of your business, or this I should say like this dimension in your business, how that is performing. Cash inflow, outflow, so that could be another KPI that you track. So for especially a business like, again, private label on Amazon, making sales is not the same as getting paid. So this really means like payments received, right? The inflow. So there's a lag there when you're selling on Amazon, and with a lot of other online businesses, there's a lag between making the sales and actually getting paid. Same goes with outflow. So that's the not the money you owe, but the money that actually goes out of your bank account. and when it does, that's when it's tracked. So that could be another good KPI. So inflow and outflow. Year-to-date profit and loss. So this would be like accumulated profit and loss in the business for the year, like from January 1st to December 31st. Is the profit building, or have you made profit? And how much is it from the beginning of the year until this week? Or have you lost money? Like, are you actually negative for the year, right? So another example of a KPI that you can see is like made out of different numbers, like your finance numbers, and it's summarizing it into one KPI. So KPIs are not just like, oh, there's all the obvious things like revenue, and it's really being smart about one of the tricks, the things that make you good at KPIs is being good at actually and being clever with the way you combine metrics into one KPI that gives you deep, profound insights into, again, like a certain dimension of your business. So hopefully that makes sense. That's really it for this video. This should give you enough ammunition, so to speak, to actually go and create your own KPIs, set them up and start to use them. You can just do it in a spreadsheet, right? And that's really it. So hopefully this has been very valuable. If you enjoyed this video, by all means like it to let me know, and by all means comment below as well. I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions or anything I can help you with, feel free to comment below this video as well, and I will respond back to you. Of course, if you did enjoy this video, I've got a lot more in store like this, business principles, fundamental things that have really worked for me to actually get results and be successful in business throughout the years, now for more than 8 years online. So if you want more videos like this, then be sure to subscribe to my channel and click this bell icon to get notified when I have new videos, because I do release them on a regular basis now. And the final thing, if you did really like this video, you got some great value from it, I would be extremely grateful if you did share it with your friends, and hopefully they would be as well, because if it's been valuable for you, then it's probably going to be very valuable for some of your friends or people you know that are in business like you and striving to be successful. So if you share this video with them, it would mean a lot to me, and I'm sure them as well. So that's it. The next thing is, like I mentioned in a previous video, using KPIs by themselves is a good thing, but it's really powerful when you use it in combination with another system that we call OKRs, objectives and key results. So when you combine KPIs with OKRs, that's when you really got a full spectrum of metrics to not only run and operate your business, but also grow and build your business, by creating things, by doing things. This is more just about running the business. The OKRs are about building the business. So now at the end of this video, there will be an icon here on the screen, and you can just click it to go and watch the next video, which is on OKRs and how to use them. So just like this video, same type of video, I'm showing you exactly how to use OKRs, objectives and key results, in your business. And in that video, because OKRs are a little bit more complicated, I'm actually going to give you full-blown training with a tool, so training on how to use this tool that we use to manage OKRs in our business. That's really scientific and awesome. It's such a powerful tool, top 3 in my business, no question about it. So click the link at the end of this video and go watch the OKRs with examples. I'll also give you an example there to learn about OKRs, and then receive the tool and the training to actually implement it in your business and start using it. And I have no doubt that if you use KPIs and OKRs correctly, properly in your business, it's going to transform your experience of running the business. It's going to change the game for you, and you're going to be a lot more successful and confident in terms of running and growing your business. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and talk to you soon.